Hi everyone, Senior Scientist here, and I know I haven't made a video in a long time, but things are getting ready to pop, it looks like, and by the time you watch this video, it may have already shot up another level, so that's gonna really spike prices, get a lot of interest kind of coming in, it'll correct again, and then I think we're off to the races. Just a short correction, we're talking in a matter of a day or two or three, who knows. Anyway, shout out real quick to Zargetscrypto. He's one of my favorites. Boy, I love that he's been consistent over the last several years. And if you've been following him, remember when he first started, and Ethan Galstad and some others were promoting him, and then he got on the BitcoinCash podcast, which is phenomenal. And shout out to Ryan Griffin in the BitcoinCash community. There's been several others, and I'm sorry if I forgot your names, but I've seen all your videos. So thank you everybody who is out there and who's been consistent talking about Bitcoin Cash. I'm just on a quick walk here before I go to work, and it's beautiful in Minnesota. We have cooled down a little bit. It's been hot here in the US, and it's always hot. It's summertime. It's weird. They have like extreme heat warnings out all over the place, which they changed the verbiage. I know this is a bit of a tangent, but it's sort of weird. It used to be called an excessive heat warning, and now it's called an extreme heat warning. So that's weird. And then the other weird part is that it's based on what's called the heat index, which is an equation. And it combines the dew point temperature, the humidity, which is a measure of moisture in the atmosphere, and the temperature. And it gives you a feel-like temperature. But how it feels to one person might be different to another, who knows? It's just weird. I say that because, like, for example, in Memphis, the average high is like 95, and they're topping out, highs like 97. I think the hottest this week was like right around 100 degrees near that area. So that was a little warm, a little above average. But I mean, their average like 95, 96, 97. And so they're topping out just, this is Fahrenheit. Sorry, Celsius people. It's a horrible scale. I know. If you're watching in any other country that has some form of sanity and logic and rationale, Fahrenheit is the worst. I mean, hey, the freezing point of water at sea level is 32 degrees for some reason. 212 boiling water. What? You come up with that? The rest of the world use Celsius. Anyhow, it's just weird because it's only a few degrees above the average, and yet we get extreme heat warnings out because they have high humidity. But it's always high humidity in those areas in the summertime in the south. So I know it has been hot, but I've seen much hotter down in those areas before. Anyhow, that's my tangent. So why did they change the verbiage? I don't know. And now they started issuing them for Alaska. So this year, it's different. Every market at what their criteria for issuing those, the National Weather Service. So like in Alaska, they start issuing extreme heat warnings out. I don't know the exact number, but it's around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so if you're on the Celsius, what would that be, like 22? I don't know, somewhere around there maybe. Does that seem like extreme heat? I don't know. Most of Europe is right around 22 degrees. Anyhow, all right, getting back to Bitcoin Cash. I wanted to say with this bull run, I've heard many people say that this bull run will be different because we have this, that, the other thing. And then I listen to a lot of more level-headed people, and they say that people always say it's going to be different. And they're like, look at Bitcoin, BTC. and it's, you know, kind of following the same chart pattern. So I like blockchain backer for that reason. But I wanted to also share my opinion that those statements, while they sound contradicting, one saying that this bull run is going to be different and super high price targets, and then, you know, that's when institutions are selling into people, and they drive up all the, you know, the greed, and people FOMO in and then get wrecked. So I think that this bull run is the same, but I think it's also different. And let me explain. And this is where it gets really cool. So I think it's, when I look at the Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, some of those others, I do see it following the same general pattern. I think blockchain backer has been phenomenal with that. And I think some of the price targets that Cesar Gets Crypto, I think he's just phenomenal. So whether right or wrong, you know, it's his opinion, but he does good analysis. And I like that he's talking about things and keeping an eye on everything for us, as that's not easy to do. That takes up a lot of time. So I hope he's making some money on YouTube or something. So I think it's the same with some of these. And I personally think that, you know, these price targets of like 500,000 for Bitcoin, I think that's too high here for this cycle. I think the high is going to be much, much, much lower than people are anticipating. Some of the people, I don't want to see people in general, because who knows what people are thinking, but I don't have Bitcoin personally, but from what I gather, you know, like blockchain backer, he's, you know, much more conservative. XRP is much more conservative, and I tend to agree with what, you know, his analysis with some of those. You know, he's going for like $8 to $9 on XRP, for example, which is still really good. Now, here's where those people are wrong, and the people who say this bull run is going to be different are right, and that is with BitcoinCash. Why? Because it has to. It has to be different. It already is different. And the reason for that is because over the entire history of BitcoinCash's life, if you will, of its creation, it has been in this descending triangle wedge pattern, a consolidation pattern, which also across the entire chart, you can pinpoint, map, and overlay Wyckoff accumulation, which means that throughout this entire life of BitcoinCash, from the massive sell-off at the fork and from there on out, it has been accumulation, accumulation, accumulation. And yes, the previous bull cycle, it did go up to like 1,500. And I'm sure institutions sold, drove the price down. It was just silent for a few years. It was so low, and everybody wrote it off. It's dead, it's dead, it's dead. But there were the smart ones who were accumulating at that point when it was down near $100. And they saw the value in it. And then it shot up to $700, proving them right. And then we kind of came down, you know, corrections, just doing ABC corrections. And the entire chart also follows the shorter pattern. If you watch blockchain backer, for example, he kind of goes through where the pattern in the cycle, and each bull cycle kind of has the same pattern, which is funny because if you look at the entire chart of BitcoinCash, it's in that one pattern. And so this bull run has to be different because we've broken out of that triangle. We are out. So where do we go from here? I don't think anybody knows. You can draw your fibs, and listen, the fib on the chart, again, the entire chart shows Wyckoff accumulation. The entire chart has been in a accumulating descending triangle pattern. The entire history of the chart is also a fractal, if you will, of the shorter time bull cycle pattern that we find in Bitcoin. And so this bull run, if it weren't different for Bitcoin Cash, we'd have topped out right around $500, because that was the top of the descending triangle. But we didn't. We broke out. So it's already different, and we haven't even started. So where do we go? Again, nobody knows. I've actually kind of dropped some of my expectations just out of hard to believe, right? And I'm thinking now anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. And that may not sit well with a lot of people. It doesn't sit well with me. I have no reasoning for it. And when I look at the amount of money getting ready to pour into this space, which is just insane. When we look at what the bills that are being passed, and when we look at the use case for Bitcoin Cash, I look at the community, and then I'm reminded how the SEC said 4 coins, that Ethereum, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin are not securities. It's the only ones they approved. And here we got XRP battling everything from who knows what. They still think XRP will go up, but institutions are going to be pouring money on a level that you and I can't really grasp. There's some people here that have over $100 million invested in crypto. That, if you sell everything, it just wouldn't even matter. You wouldn't move the chart. I mean, you might see a little tick for, maybe a couple seconds, but you're not doing anything. We don't have that type of leverage. These companies like BlackRock and governments, I mean, you can't imagine how much money they don't have, but they can just throw in. They print, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to print like mad, and so this is going to get dumped into assets that will help not only create a lot of income, profit for governments and things like that to pay off their debts. But we're talking trillions of dollars coming in. And I think everything is going to benefit. I think everything is going to do great. But I think one chart stands out. That's the most obvious to me. I think there are a couple others that are similar to Bitcoin Cash that have been in lifelong consolidation patterns. But this has already been through a couple different cycles, again, in a consolidation pattern. And it already broke out of that. So it can't be the same. It has to go up. It has one place to go. It's sitting right now on the basement floor. Think of that. So it broke out, and now that resistance line is its floor. So if you are wondering, should I buy now? You're on the basement floor. So for it to drop back into that, the thing will go all the way back down to zero. And that can't happen. It already broke out. It's already tested. It's already chop up there. It might spike up and then come back down, but that's the floor, guys. If it wicks below it, who cares? That's the floor. So get ready, hold. If you want, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not about telling you what to do. Me, I'll probably sell several different times. If it gets up there to 5,000, I'll probably sell, because there's always a pullback. Even in the most severe cases going straight up and down, there's always a pullback. So take your profits. And you know what? If it keeps going up, just wait. Put in a stop buy order or something. So for example, let's say it goes up to $5,000. You sell some, take some profits. And let's say it keeps going up to like 6,000. Oh no, I lost 100,000. No, you just sit back and wait. And you can put another buy order, because it will always come back and sort of just real quickly test the previous top. And so, or just above that. So just go above that previous top, put in a buy order if you want. If you have confidence it's gonna keep going up, hits that, goes up again, make more money. Now, let's say that is the top. Well, you sold, but you're not sure it's the top. So what you can do is let's say it starts dropping. Let's say it goes up to 5,000, you sold, and it's dropping down to 4,000. You're like, oh, I'm so glad I sold. But maybe it's just retesting the previous high. And so you can put in a stop buy order. So let's say it drops to 4,000. You can put a stop buy order at like 4,800. You still come out ahead. You made $200 a coin. Actually 400, because you make it on the way up. So put in a stop buy order. Okay, it's down at 4,000. I don't know if it's coming back up. Maybe this is the start of the bear cycle. We don't know. Well, it drops and it drops and it drops. Just stop buy orders up at 4,800. Who cares? Now let's say it hits that. And you do want to add a stop loss at some point. Make it low if you want. You're already in the profit. But this thing could go crazy, guys. Parabolic, it could go straight up. And we could be... I just think all of our predictions are not bullish enough, as zargetscrypto says. We don't know where this is going. We're just scared to say high amounts. But when you look at the amount of money coming in here, where's it gonna go? I mean, it'll get spread around, but it's one of 4 coins approved. Lifelong consolidation pattern. This price has one way to go: up. It can't go down. We're on the basement floor. All right, so cheers.